This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so let's get started. Yeah, everyone. Okay, so let me start with a little bit of introduction from my side, and then after that we'll have an introduction from your side as well, and then we'll discuss about the format of this training, and then we'll continue the our topics. So that way we'll get started. Okay, so my name is Rajesh Kumar, and I'll be your host for next 3 days, talking about the intermediate course of AWS. So I'll help you with all this thing around the AWS, and even if you have any other questions, I'll be able to help you. So I have started my career in 2005, and since then I've been working with many organizations with various roles and responsibilities. So some of the just a second, let me mute my phone. Otherwise it will. Sorry. Yeah, so I've started my career in 2005, and since then I've been working with many organizations. Some of the organizations where I have worked, which includes Accenture, IBM Lab, Adobe System, Intuit, ServiceNow, JDA, Software AG, Kotokas in India as well as abroad. So some of the roles and responsibility which I played out, which includes started with the programmer, then migrated to build and release, then DevOps, DevSecOps, and SRE. So currently, I'm you may say like architect in a DevOps and SRE. So I'll help you with all of my knowledge, whatever I can, and then we'll learn together. Okay, so yeah. So apart from that, all the lab infrastructure will be I'll be providing it to you, or I'll share my access to all with all of you as we proceed further. I'll provide all the slides to do assignments, step-by-step guide, demos, and everything. Just you need to focus on it. So uh, we'll start the training every day at 9:30 a.m. IST, and then we'll wrap it up at 5:30 p.m. IST, and then we'll have a one lunch break between 1 to 2. Will that be okay for everyone? 1 to 2. And we'll have a two tea break, one for 15 minutes of each of these for tea, coffee, restroom, and personal calls and something like that. So probably one we'll have at 11:30, and second one maybe 3:30 or something like that. Okay, so yeah, so any questions before we move to the next page? Any clarifications you want to make? Yeah, again, if you guys want, so probably this this location, because that way we'll be closer and I don't have to shout it and to reach out to you. Okay, so yeah, can we have a little bit of small introduction from your side also? So what is your expectations and what is your experience of probably? Yeah, so ma'am, we'll start from your side. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. We'll do that. Sir.
Hello, my name is Guru, and I have been a part of this for last project. And I have 12 years of experience. AWS is something very new to me. I don't have any knowledge of it. I have no AWS as I was in the implementation.
Yeah.
We are looking forward.
We'll learn together. Yeah. Sir.
Hi, my name is Ravi Kumar. I joined Airbus last year on November, so 1.5 years. And Airbus is my first company. After graduation, I joined Airbus. And my expectation from this course is to tackle deep knowledge of AWS because I always wanted to learn AWS, but there is some fear of AWS. Someone told that there is a cost and knowledge to use that.
Nothing like that. Yeah, so we'll learn at essential level in this session, but advanced sessions is also being planned, so probably you want to involve in that. Sir.
Yeah, my name is Guli. I have total 7 years of experience. I joined Airbus 6 months back. So my expectation is a basic idea on cloud. Maybe the AWS side.
Sure. Ma'am.
Hi, good morning. My name is Navya. I have total 3 years of experience in tech sales. So I have joined Airbus last 3 months back.
Yeah, please.
My
Sorry.
expectation from this course to get brief knowledge of this AWS, and
Yeah.
I wanted to learn from past 1 year, but I couldn't get a chance to learn.
We will learn to it together. Ma'am.
Hi, I'm Shiva. I joined Azure a month back. So I work in tech sales as a BHO. So AWS, I created the basic instance and I was trying to very lecture, but I don't have much knowledge with AWS, but basic things I have tried to learn it myself.
We'll spend time.
Sure.
Sir.
Hi, this is Bhagava. So AWS is my first company, being on top of it. So my expectations are a big knowledge about AWS and that and the process.
Are we having everyone from the first company? This is the group of first company? No, I mean, this all people? No? Okay, okay.
Hi, I'm Shruti Khan. I have total close to 4 years of experience in IT and have been utilizing AWS services in my projects quite a lot.
Yeah.
And mostly the AWS CDK we are extensively using, and I aim to dive deeper into these from this break.
We'll do that.
Yeah, my name is Gayatri Rai, and AWS is my first company. I joined last year in August, so close to 1.5 years now. And I'm quite new to AWS, so I want to gain some knowledge so that I can apply it in my projects.
Sure, we'll do that. Sir.
My name is Krishna. I've been part of AWS for the last 1 year. I have total of 5 years of experience in writing, and my expectation is to gain some basic knowledge on it.
Sure. So,
my name is Krishna. So I joined AWS last year, and I have 5 years of experience, and I want to gain AWS experience to work on it.
cool. Ma'am.
I'm Shruti here. I have 7 years of experience as a platform developer. I just have a basic knowledge on AWS, so I want to explore more on AWS.
Cool. Sir.
My name is Mohan Ashwin. I have done this year experience. It's been a year in Airbus, and I have worked on Azure and GCP before joining Airbus. So I just want to refresh my awareness.
You find almost clone of it. AWS and Azure and Google Cloud. Yeah.
My name is Sudhir. I have around 6 years of experience. I joined in Airbus this year. So last year I took a certification on AWS Architect. So my current role is on the DevOps. So that's why I'm
Yeah, but so then why did you enroll for this course? Because you are already got certification at the associate level, right?
Yeah, so
It's the same training actually.
Yes, this is the DevOps, right? So few DevOps agenda.
Dev side, yeah. So 80% will be common, 20% will be separate. Last day you have a separate topics actually. So like.
Yeah, my name is Tushar. I'm the part of Airbus from more than a year. So my idea of being in class is to clear the exam of DevOps engineer or DevOps associate program.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much. So we'll get started. Any questions? Okay. So so what is AWS? So sorry. Even I have some issues with that. So what is AWS? So anyone would like to tell me what is AWS? Amazon Web Services, right? Web means Amazon means company name, correct? No? Web means internet. www. That means Amazon is providing certain services on the website, correct? Now the question is services means here
Providing something.
services. Yeah. What kind of services? Banking services, telecom services, chat services, email services. What services?
Storage. Storage.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, everything. Okay. Whatever you can think of it, I need these services. Amazon will say, I will provide it. Okay. Everything, whatever you can. You want to program for satellites, robotics, AI. I'm just talking about not something which we know, something we know already, but something which we don't know. Let's say robotics, AI, artificial intelligence, ML, satellite programming. Everything you can do that using AWS. There are some services for that. So in a nutshell, whatever you are looking for it, you will get it at AWS. So Amazon is providing all the services over the web. Now, so this AWS is considered under the cloud computing. Most of us, we consider this as a cloud computing. So let's have a little bit of introduction of cloud computing first, and then we'll get into the AWS. So what is a cloud computing? I don't think so. You require more discussions on it. All of us understand cloud computing. So cloud computing in a nutshell, like we are having resources. Okay, simple. Cloud computing means we are having resources. Now, when I say resources, primarily what are the resources I'm talking about in a software companies? What are the resources we need? Servers. So can I call it compute? Okay, right? Compute, because the moment I call it servers, no, the container is not a server, but container is a compute. All of you understand that, right? So can we call it compute? Because the moment I say server, that means this is my server. But inside that container, the VM is not a server; it's the virtual machines, right? So we can call it a compute. Compute. You have a physical server, virtual servers, containers, pod, Docker, and Kubernetes, right? Nowadays. So compute. What else? Additional we need resources, storage. You need networking, and plenty of other things also you need it, right? Databases, security, many other things you need it. So that's the resources. Make sense? Now these resources we pool and share. That's called cloud computing. That means I have a 10 boxes. Simple. I have a 10 boxes and I want to share with you, pool and share with you, and I will charge you also. So it'll become a cloud computing. Simple. Very simple. So that is something, a model for enabling ubiquitous, inconvenient, on-demand network access to shared pool of configurable computing resources like network, server, storage, applications and services that can be rapidly provisioned and released with a minimal management efforts or service provider interactions. So now the question is, who's empowering the cloud computing? Let's say I'll ask you today, I'll ask you to set up a cloud computing. So this is the pool of resources. I'll give you 10 server and then say, hey, you are going to set up a cloud computing for Airbus. How do you do that? What will be your first step for that? No, but I want you to become a provider. I want you to set up a cloud services. Getting my points?
Analyze how many servers required.
I'll give you all the hardware. Hardware part, I'll give it to you. What do you need next? Virtual machines come from where?
We have to build from the scratch.
I mean,
Using a platform.
who's creating virtual machines? No, I know that you know that is just a matter of discussion. So guys, have you used the VirtualBox? That's your cloud in platform that will create your cloud environment. Minimal one. VMware, little large go for vSphere. Have you heard about it from VMware? Let's say today Airbus IT team decides I have 30 boxes lying over there, and you guys are asking for servers, and we don't have a sufficient budget. They will go install the vSphere, create a private cloud for you, and give it to you, virtual machines. So the question is, virtual machines we need, right? So how do we create a virtual machines? So there is one category of software which you call it a hypervisor. Okay, hypervisor. VMware is hypervisor, vSphere is hypervisor, VirtualBox is hypervisor, KVM is hypervisor. AWS is also using hypervisor. Azure is also using hypervisor at a large scale. Right? Getting my points? Google Cloud also using a hypervisor. So everyone is using hypervisor. You can use hypervisor in your laptop, data centers, private data centers, public data centers. Make sense? So this hypervisor is a kind of software. They create a virtual machine. Make sense? So now these are the hypervisors.
Hypervisor in the source or in that system that we are going to that where we are going to have.
Yeah. So first we have hardware, and then on top of kernel we have, on top of that hypervisor we put it up, and then hypervisor manage the VM.
Okay.
Hypervisor manage the VM. How do you get a VM? Someone has to manage that, right? Someone has to talk to the VM and then kernel, correct? Now to get the resources, because kernel is the only one who will get you the resources, correct? So like that. So hypervisor is in the middle. These are the options we have. Hypervisor. Okay. So I'm sure you must have used it at least once at a small level, at least in your laptop also, like a VMware or VirtualBox. So this is clear. You can create a cloud environment in your laptop also. Make sense? So this is called virtualization process. Just now I was discussing, we have a hardware, on top of that we have kernel, on top of the kernel we have hypervisor, and hypervisor manages all the virtual machines, correct? So each virtual machines we have operating system. Agree with me? Correct? Do we have a operating system in container? All of you understand the Docker, right? Good. That's a nice, because I have a few topics around containers. So do you have operating system in container? No. Yes. No. Correct. In VM, do you have operating system? Correct now? Yeah. So please remember that. So virtualization, that process is called virtualization. In computing, a virtualization refers to the act of creating virtual version of something, including virtual computer hardware platform, operating system, storage device, and computer network resources. Make sense? So that's the virtualization. Now question is, how do we understand what is a cloud computing, what is not a cloud computing? So again, I will ask you same question. If I ask you, all of you, let's say you guys are a one team, and I'll ask you, hey, to set up a cloud computing environment for Airbus. So what are the characteristics you have? What are the model for the services you will offer to the client, all other employees of Airbus? And what are the service model and deployment model? So this we need to discuss. Let's say you want to set up any cloud computing platform, you have to have a certain characteristics, certain models of services, and certain model for deployments. So now what are the characteristics? So first of all, when you set up a cloud computing and I am the employee of Airbus, I should get the VMs on demand. If you're not giving the on demand, you're not a cloud computing platform. Make sense? On demand means I want now. I should get now. I want hundreds of server now. I should get hundreds of server now. Are you providing the services? If yes, then you are a cloud computing platform. Do we get on AWS? Yes. Do we get on Google Cloud? Yes. Do we get in Azure or any other cloud platform? Yes. So yes, that is a on demand. Now second one is broad network access. Broad network access means I don't care where you are running my virtual machine, but I should be able to access it. and from anywhere in the world. Okay, I'm in home, I should be able to access. I'm in office, I should be able to access. You are going to provide the connection, the connection to the servers, which I can access from anywhere. I don't know how you serve, but you have to serve. And if you are serving that, you are a cloud computing platform. Are we getting in AWS, which can you access from anywhere? Yes. Resource pooling. Resource pooling means we are having the pool of resources and we all are using, and from that pool itself. You should not say like we don't have this one, because you should create a pool of resources. I should go and take it from that. And when I say resource means compute, storage, networking. This is the primary fundamental resources. Apart from that, we have other resources also. 5,000 resources we have in AWS actually. And rapid elasticity. So I want 10 servers today. Next 1 hour, I need 100 servers. Next day, I need 1 servers. Scale up, scale down. If you're providing that services, you are a cloud services. Like a big billion sales, right? Suddenly we had a, let's say 1 million traffic. During the sales, it will become a 10 million traffic. So now I was running 1,000 servers. Now I have to run 10,000 servers. Can I increase that rapid elastic? Can I scale up and scale down? If you're not providing it, then you cannot call yourself as a cloud computing platform. Make sense? And the last one, major services. Because anyone can access it, anyone can use it. How do I know how much of consumptions you are making it? How much storage you have used, how much compute you have used, correct? So I have to measure and have to charge it. This charge can happen in terms of monetary or credit. Maybe when you have a private cloud, I'll give you the credit for it. Credit means you are supposed to use this much. You cannot use more than that. And if it is public, I'll charge you as you use it. Charge you per hour, per second. AWS charges per hour basis. Azure charges per second basis. Depends. Make sense? So these are the 5 characteristics. So tomorrow you are going to set up your AWS, cloud services. You have to offer this one. Now questions you may ask, how can I set up my own cloud platform? So one thing we understood is the hypervisor we needed, correct? But hypervisor has one disadvantage. They have a no rich UI. UI is lacking. Okay, rich UI is not there. So how do we deal with it? Okay, so in AWS we say Amazon Web, right? Web means website. It's accessible to the web, right? So we don't have a rich UI. I say basic UI is there, but not rich UI. So there is one software which has been developed by Red Hat, and the software name is OpenStack. If you want to note it down, you can note it down. OpenStack. It's a OpenStack is a free software you can install in your infrastructure and then set up AWS like infrastructure. Means backend will be hypervisor, web will be OpenStack, and OpenStack kind of AWS. Whatever you can do on AWS, you can do on OpenStack. OpenStack you can set up in your laptop also. You can set up. Little bit of hardware we need it more. Make sense? So private data centers, typically people go for vSphere or VirtualBox or KVM or switches, KVM and others hypervisor, and they use the OpenStack for it. Make sense? Okay, so now we have got a clarity. So yes, on-demand self-service, broad network access, resource pooling, rapid elasticity, and measure services. Now, what are the service model? Honestly speaking, there's so many service models we have right now. Okay, even some of this I don't know. Because every month we are getting one model actually nowadays. Every month. So here primarily we are talking about the IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. Some of these also you want to contribute from your side. It's there, no?
BPAS. Business process.
Everything as a service nowadays, right? So some of this popular one you want to add. Anyone else? I know that you know, most of you, but it's just a matter of discussion. Function as a service. Have you heard about this? No? Container as a service. Yeah. So these are the services which is a popular, but nowadays we are calling everything as a service. Because if you go for the SaaS based company or PaaS based platform, they'll start calling everything as a service, whatever, tax as a service, account as a service, so it depends. But now these are the fundamental models which we have inherited from last 15-20 years, and this will stick to it. Okay, so now the question is, what is a service, SaaS, what is a PaaS, what is a IaaS? So this image will give you better visualizations. Okay, this image will give you better visualization. So first one, we'll discuss on the infrastructure as a service. So here, if you have a two stakeholders, one who's using the cloud services and one who's offering the cloud services. So here, when I say vendor is the provider, and when we say customer is the user of the cloud services. Are you understanding? So now let's say you are the infrastructure as a service provider. Remember, you had set up in the last discussion, you only set up your private data centers, right? And private cloud. So now what you will provide? So you will say, okay, listen, you will say to all the employees of Airbus, I will provide you infrastructure, you will take care of the rest of the things. For example, I will provide the networking, storage, servers, and virtualizations. Okay, virtualization means when I say hypervisor, please remember that. Okay, so 4 things I'll provide. Now what operating system you want, I don't want to interfere, you decide. Okay, inside operating system, what you want to run, middleware, runtime, data, and application, you decide. That means I will be responsible. You will say I will be responsible for infrastructure. If infrastructure have a problem, I'll take care of it. But rest of the things you will take care of it. I will not be giving you any SLAs or something like that. You will not take responsibility of it. You will say only I will give you the responsibility up to the compute. Make sense? Now in the platform and the service, little bit better. So what we have here, vendor is providing networking services, storage services, server, virtualization, operating system, middleware, and runtime. But customer will come and have their own data and applications, use it, and then go ahead. Any idea about platform as a service? Where you have a data and applications running. So have you heard about the SAP, right? SAP. So what they, yeah. So what happens? SAP is a kind of platform. An organization come, they develop their own apps for HR, IT, sales, this, that, and all, and then use it. So you develop your application, and applications will store the data and then use it. SAP, ServiceNow, have you heard about it? It's a platform. So you again, same thing you do. They provide you the platform, and then you go and build the app, your own customized app, because everyone has a own requirement. You need logo left side, but other organization need logo right side. You need 10 fields in your form. Other organization need 20 fields in the form. So they provide the platform, and you build that based on that. There's so many companies are there. ServiceNow is there, Software AG is there. Nowadays, a lot of companies you'll find as a platform as a service, where you go, develop application using their platform and then store the data and use it. Make sense? Okay, that is the primary company I was talking about. And the third one is software as a service. Software as a service means, look at this, everything has been taken care by the vendor itself. But that means cloud provider itself. That means you don't have to worry about it. Some of the very simple example for the software as a service. Which one? Gmail. Salesforce is a platform service because you go and build the applications. Okay, so like that. So Gmail, do you worry about it? How to run the application? Gmail, storage, compute, networking, availability, scalability, reliability. Do you worry about it? No, everything is outsourced. That means taken care by Google. So now I must tell you here, AWS is providing all kind of services. It's not only infra, they are into everything. That's what I said. No, first statement, AWS is in everything, Azure is in everything, Google Cloud is in everything. Make sense, all of you? So now these are the 3 models which we have. And now this is one of the good slides to decide what you want. Okay, anyways, we'll spend some time with the training, but I want you to spend some time here to get comfortable. Now you will say, Rajesh, what is the infrastructure as a service on AWS? So I think answer you have here. Okay, names are different, but internally it's all virtual machines. Okay, so here EC2 stand for Elastic Cloud Compute, and this is Azure is simple. It's a virtual machine. Compute engine they call it Google Cloud. Now, if you go for the container as a service, then ECS, EKS. EKS means Kubernetes, you know, right? So you say, I will not host the Kubernetes. So AWS say, I will host, no problem. You focus on your worker and then deploying your pods and stuff like that. Don't worry about that, managing the admin work of it. EKS. AKS, GK, Google Kubernetes engine. Container as a service, again, serverless SaaS if you want, app runner, Fargate, container apps and cloud run. If you want platform as a service on AWS, then Beanstalk, Elastic Beanstalk, where developers will go develop your applications and app service app. And then function as a service, Lambda, function and cloud functions. So these are the fundamental services provided by each categories of the model. No need to remember, but slowly you will get to it. But now these are the popular models which you have. Infrastructure, platform, container, function, and all stuff like that. Make sense? All of you? Yeah. Now the left side you have decision making when you want what. So right now that part I will skip it because right now your journey should be to learn all the services and then deciding the decision making. So I'll just skip it right now. Okay. So now how do we deploy? How do we deploy? So do you want to offer the cloud services to the whole world? Then what do you call it? Public. Last one. Do you want to offer your cloud services to only to Airbus employee? What do we call it? Private. Do you want to call it? Do you want to offer both of these? Public and private. That means hybrid. And are you having the cloud services for the universities, NGOs, open source initiative and all? So then community. So universities like IMB, Bangalore also, Mumbai also, Delhi, Stanford, MIT, and many other universities, they offer the cloud services only for the universities, PhD students, so they can practice it. In fact, AWS also offer community. Azure also offer community. They give free credit to all the students. If you go to the student program and all for it, you get a few credit actually, maybe $2,000 or something. You have to get approval from your university. Okay, so you get a free credit and community. So now here, by the way, AWS is also in everything. We think AWS is a private, but you know what? AWS also provide private data center to government, US government and US Japan government. They do provide. You will not see that in list, but they do provide entire data centers solution for the US government. Okay, so they're in the community all the time. And by the way, AWS also you can make it hybrid. That means you can connect AWS from the OpenStack also. OpenStack I showed, right? It's a private data centers and private to connect to the public also. So let's say there's a limitation reached in your number of servers in Airbus. What to do now? There's option number one. You go buy the hardware and replace it. It will take time. Or connect to the AWS. The end user will not come to know whether it's running or the VM is running on the AWS or your private data centers, because ultimately they need a IP address, right? And way to get into that broader access network, right? Network access, correct? So like that. So these are the models which we have and so on. So these are some of the key dates of the cloud computing. Okay. So the first the who started the services is AWS, and after that we have got Google, and then Azure is the last one. I know. By the way, this is not so much relevant because all of us have that idea who's winning right now. So probably these slides will give you a little bit of idea about this, who's winning the market. Of course, we know that. So Azure is the second one, AWS is the first one, Google Cloud and stuff like that. So here, this is the market share as per the Q2 2023. Most recent, I could get it on the internet. So Azure came late, but it has got lots of share in a short span of time. So what was the reason for it? And I personally feel this will overpass in the next 10 years.
Better UI, better pricing model, and few of the things which is like regional cloud load balancer and all.
No, I would say, see, that's a fair point. But in terms of cost, all are same. In fact, Google Cloud is cheapest one. Okay, Google Cloud is cheapest one. And you see, AWS see that Azure is reduce the price, so they also reduce the price. It's not like you can say, I'll not reduce something. They also do that. The only thing is Microsoft connection with the enterprises. That is the only connection. Because see, when you look at the AWS is not an enterprise friendly company. Okay, when you look at the Microsoft, it always been their enterprise friendly company. You use all of their softwares from ages actually. So now when it comes to the enterprise, like a CTO level and all, they think who's closer to support enterprises, though both are same almost, but the mindset is like, okay, I've been using this guy from last 20 years providing the cheaper or better services or maybe equal services, let's go with it. So like that, so all the integrations whatever you've been using from last 30-40 years, all the enterprise, like at the organization level, it's very easy to align with Azure than compared to AWS. So that's one of the reason I feel, but again some other reasons also there. So likewise, they have also introduced lots of student programs actually. Recently they have stopped it, but every universities, every student, they give the $100 to $50 for the use of 1 year actually, up to 1 year or something. So they also got aligned with Azure, and also that way they are playing. Okay, so this cloud computing platform is just like this simple, build and operate by someone else, and you just go and consume for your infrastructure needs. So what are some of the benefits? Let's say benefits a lot. Here, reduce infrastructure cost. See, you want to pay, you want to run only for few hours, few days, few months. So do you need to pay the infrastructure for whole year or multiple years? No. So you pay as you go, as you use capacity and scale, as you can plan for your capacity and scale up, scale down as per your based on needs. Refresh aging infrastructure. You don't have to worry about the recycling the infrastructure. They will take care of it. They have a very strict policies. AWS and Azure, every cloud, they have a very strict policies. Whether it's working or not working, few years they have a standard timeline. The storage and compute, they have a standard timeline, and if this is done, they will crush that hardware and put it in the deep ocean to avoid that any misuse of the data. So they will refresh the hardware, support new business opportunities, business continuity, and increase collaboration between the all the services. So this is some on cloud computing. Any questions? So now the mindset I want you to build. Can you set up a cloud computing? Can you set up a cloud computing? Yes. Can we use the cloud computing? Yes. So it's up to you, correct? And if you want to set up a cloud computing, two softwares are needed, hypervisor and OpenStack. That is, both are free, by the way. Okay, all are free. Most of the softwares are free. If you only server will cost you, of course. So that is the thing. If you want to use public, again you can use the public. Okay, so any questions? Okay, so let's move on to the AWS part now. Okay, so introduction to AWS. Okay, so We understood. We know this guy, right? It's gone. Something happened. Yeah. We know this guy, right? All of us. So no need to talk about it, right? Okay. So yeah. So there's the only one thing which we need to remember: 2002 and 2006. These are the two key dates in the history of cloud computing. And apart from that, we understand that, so I'll just ignore it. Now, if you ask one thing, hey, why should I trust AWS to host my very crucial applications, which is offering millions of customers, billions of revenues and stuff like that? Why should I trust? So I think these slides will give you the idea. So AWS is running their own applications on their cloud. Okay, so this is the key dates for the migration. They migrated to AWS. So everything is running on AWS. So AWS, Amazon, we know that Amazon is the largest, e-commerce platform on this planet, and that is running on AWS. So we got the second options also. So yeah, these are the key dates for all the releases for the AWS important services. Okay, so that's not very important, but I want you to make you comfortable. Look at this here. First you got a EC2, then S3, and then storage, then databases, DynamoDB, and stuff like that. So I'll just ignore some of the stuff. Okay, so now someone has asked like, how can we get started? Correct now? So guys, anyone can get started. Anyone can get started, and you can open an account because it's a public platform, right? So anyone can register an account and you can open an account, provided you have a email address and debit or credit card number enabled with Visa or MasterCard. I think RuPay is not supported. Till what I have memories, till last year, RuPay is not supported. Maybe if this year, you guys need to check that. Okay, so anyone who's having the valid debit card or debit credit card, and you can get started. So what is that offer is being called? AWS free tier. Now they give you the access for most of the essential services up to 1 year. Don't start googling your mind saying that okay, I'll go and create a free account and then use up to 1 year for whatever it is. No, I said only for learning purpose. That means they will allow the services in such a way you can learn the platform, but you cannot use the platform for your running your applications. Understand that? For example, you need to run application, you require 2 GB. I'm giving you an example, 2 GB, but they give you only 1 GB free. So you can run that, and that too also 750 hours per month. I'm just giving you an example. So every services of AWS is available under the free tier, but only for learning the platform up to the 1 year, 12 months. And after the 12 months, automatically your account will be get converted into paid one. Okay. Now during the free tier period, if you use some of the other services, they will not complain you. They will not complain you. They will charge you in your credit card. So this is your responsibility. Whenever you see AWS free tier label, that only is what do you say? Freely available. Make sense? So anyone can get started. Now, other side of it, you remember only one rule. If you go for your own accounts, and I suggest you should all to have your own account. Okay. The only thing which you remember, whatever you create, you must delete. If you remember this rule, then you lose nothing, hardly 100, even though extra will be there, maybe 100, 200, 500 or something like that in a month, I'm saying. But if you forget this rule, let's say you created some resources on Thursday, Friday some office pressure to complete some assignment, and then evening we had some party and all stuff like that. Saturday and Sunday you anyways don't touch your laptop, and then you again log into Monday, and then you see the bills. So that is many mistakes I have done in last 10 12 years. So you have to remember that only whatever you create, no matter what, you delete it. Tomorrow again you need, or maybe after a few hours again you need, you come again and create it, no problem. Make sense? So this rule you do that, and then it will be helping you further. So how can we get started with the free tier? So here just write AWS free tier, nothing great, and AWS free tier, and here now guys, I must ask you to please read that before get comfortable. See, registering an account is just a matter of 2 seconds. Make sense? But what is free, what is not free, you should read it, because tomorrow you should not tell me, Rajesh, because of you I have to incur my credit card charges, because everything is here. You want compute, certain type of compute, 750 hours is free per month. You want storage, 5 GB for S3 is free, RDS, DynamoDB. So here I just said thousands of services you have on AWS. So what is free, how much is free, what is not free, please spend some time and then use it. So that way you will have a little bit comfort also. Make sense? Okay, so anyone can start, and guys, there are few services which is lifetime free. Most of the services for you first 12 months will be free, and under the free trial. So that is something which you have it. By the way, there is one credit program also. Okay, so if you have got the credit programs through all your organizations, see what happens. Airbus will go to AWS and that say, Airbus will say, hey, we have thousands of employees and we want to upskill them, and we don't want to give access to our accounts to avoid the misuse and all stuff like that. We want individual level, everyone I want to give it the credit for this. So they will give you AWS will give a credit token to the Airbus, and Airbus will give you the token to all of you. You can open an account, apply the token, and that much of money you can use it for whatever reasons. Okay, so that is also you can do that. So I have received 3 tokens in my life, around 250, 100, and 100 one more. So 450, and let me tell you here, $450 token, that is too much. That means you can spend $450 2 months, not misuse, use, learn and use all features. That is too much actually for learning. Make sense? So that is you can try that one also. If you have still your university's email ID active, you get a student also, a student credit also. I don't know how many of you have active that email ID. Each one of you get an email ID, right? So that also it will allow you to get it. So many programs are there. If you are starting up your business, let's say tomorrow you decide, okay, I have done enough software engineering work and I will do my own startup, but how would I get a support from the cloud resources? So AWS will give you the free credit for your startup also. You have to apply what is your company and what course you're working and what is your new initiative and all. So this is called startup bootstrap program. So they'll give you up to starting from $1,000 to up to $1 lakh, depends on your region. In India, most of people get around 1,000 to 5,000. In USA, if you are a very known known startup, good idea, they can give you up to $1 lakh also. So many programs they have it, and you can get started. For time being, I'll share my account with you, all of you. That account is pretty old account, and that we will use for all the training purpose. So you have to just use that one. Make sense? Okay, so that is the free trial accounts which you have. Okay, so this number is pretty outdated actually, because I think 3-4 years old, I guess. So AWS have more than 5,000 resources. Every week they introduce the new resources. Okay, so remember that. And in this session, how many resources we'll be learning? Approx maybe 100 resources, not more than that. 100 resources. So just look at the how many services you have, and for everyone. It's not only for the software engineers. You are out, even though if you are not software engineers, there are certain services you have which you can use it. Make sense? So likewise. So of course we know that AWS is leading organization, so we'll not discuss. Now this is something correlations with your traditional infrastructure with the cloud infrastructure. That means AWS. So if are you anyone from the IT team or network team or admin team or something like that, or tooling team or something? So if you say, hey, in my traditional networks, I used to have a firewalls for controlling the incoming and outgoing traffic. I was having ACLs for writing the rules who should be allowed for what. And then the access, which is called administrator, I used to add in normal user, admin user, super user, and different kind of roles. I used to do all that stuff. How can I do in AWS? So we have a parallel, stream on AWS. You want firewall, security group. You want ACLs, network ACLs. You want administrator, role-based access control. Then you are AWS higher. Now just get comfortable. Anyways, we'll use it and get into that. Same with router, pipeline, switches, ELPs, and VPCs. On-premises servers, we have EMIs and EC2. DAS and NAS, RDBMS, we have a EBS, EFS, S3, and RDS and all. So you have a complete, whatever you had a traditional infrastructure earlier, you get clone of it on AWS. Make sense? Okay. So now look at this here. So first thing, how can we learn AWS? That's the question. How can we learn? So we start from the bottom. Here you have regions and availability zone. That means what is the region we need to understand, and what is the availability zone we need to understand. What is the edge point we need to understand. So these are the things we need to understand first, which I'll help you in the next 5 minutes. And after that, you will say, okay, I understood this. I will go and I need a compute. I need a networking and storage. This is the foundation services. This is why the cloud computing is known. This is the foundation service. Why you go to the AWS? Primarily, you go for compute, networking, and storage. After that, once you are becoming comfortable, then we talk about the platform as a service and software as a service. Okay, and plenty of platform as a service and software as a service, plenty of it, thousands of it. Okay, but because this session is aligned with the dev training, so first we'll learn the foundation, then few platform, and then migrate to the only software as a service and platform as a service, which matters to the development, not for administrations. Make sense? Okay, so that is something which you have. So again, get comfortable. Databases we have, analytics we have, app services we have, deployments and management we have, mobile services we have, and all these things. Make sense? Any questions? Okay, so now we'll get into this. This is again, if you think compute is one, drop. In a compute itself, there's so many different types of compute. Okay, just to get an idea here, look at this. Compute, you have EC2, Lambda, and many more actually. Again, in networking, you have so many things. Storage, again, we have so many options. Security and identity also, we have so many options, and applications also, we have so many options. Okay, so these are the important services. Database also, analytics also, app services also, management tool also, developer tools also, mobile services also, IoT also, robotics also, satellites also, a lot of things we have. So your life is less when you want to learn everything on AWS. It's not possible. Make sense? So that is something which we have to do. Now, guys, let's get started. So this is the console, pretty old one. Now they have changed actually. Okay. So this is the console, and you see that here we have a categories, subcategories, and inside that resources will be there. Okay. So I'll show you this. Okay, so this is something which we need to understand. When we call it in AWS EC2, that means virtual machines. When we call it AMI, that means OVA and OVF file. What is OVA and OVF file? So when you go and create a VMs, what is the thing you need? What is the thing you need? I know you know that. This is a matter of recalling those points. All of you have created virtual machines, right? What is the first thing you need? Image. So you might have got an ISO image, right? Okay. So image, we have a different format. Anyone have used the Vagrant? You have used box. What is box? What is ISO image? What is OBA? What is OF? So these are the images. Okay. Image will contain operating systems and the applications and stuff like that. And you load that image in the VMs, and that you get a VM environment operating system. Simple. So here images, AMIs, we call it in AWS. So guys, I want to ask you one thing. What are the types of storage we have primarily? I'm not talking the AWS. I'm talking the general terminologies. What are the types of storage we use in our enterprises? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that you know that, just a matter of discussion. See, there's one storage which you use in a laptop. What is this technology called? Block storage. Correct, na? Block storage. I'm putting in a simple word, okay? The hardware which you use in your laptop attached to your C drive, something like that, or D drive. That technology we call it block storage. Okay? Now, second type. I have a storage here, but I want to use here. What do we call it? Which one? I have a storage here. I want to use here, here, all the spaces. Network storage. Okay? We call it network. NFS, have you heard about network file systems? So that is a block storage only, but for this guy it will become a network storage because connected through the network. Block storage means attached to the system bus, the motherboard, that is the disk, SSD, SDD, and all kind of block storage. Okay, and the network storage. Third type of storage. By the way, network storage also we call it a file storage. Nowadays in a Kubernetes world, we call it a file storage. So please remember that file storage, network storage, both are same. Okay. Third storage nowadays is become very popular. Third storage, and that is we call it object storage. Object storage. So what is this object storage? And I know you know that. You store something in a form of object. SHA-1, SHA-256. These are the popular algorithm for storing the object storage. A lot of algorithms are there. Which are the tools we have? Have you not used Git?
Yes.
That is your object storage. Correct, na? Have you used the Google Drive? Object storage, sorry. And so likewise. So object storage you can access through HTTP. Git repository, can you access through HTTP? Yes. Can you access the C drive through HTTP? No. Simple. Correct? No? You have to have a web server, then access that. Different scenario. So three storage, right? So now you look at this, you understand this virtual machines and this one, then you should also understand this one. EBS, block storage. Infrared storage is also block storage for temporary. S3 object storage. And do we have a EFS? It's not there in the list. Okay. So here, do you want a domain www.facebook.com, www.insta.com? So what do we call it? Route 53. Just become comfortable slowly. If you want load balancers, what do we call it in AWS? ELB. If you want all of your, see, I got a one enterprise account for Airbus. I want to add all of your access. How do we add it? IAM. I want the virtual CPU to the VM's vCPU. I want EC2 cloud compute unit also. So you object storage, block storage, AMIs, and instance. Are you comfortable? These keywords. Okay. So these are the keywords. Okay. So now, those who are preparing for certifications, please spend some time here. So I'm trying to teach you this one, developer associates. Okay. So this is the maybe 70% of the content will be covered as part of this. But if you want to prepare, so foundation is not required. Okay. So if you want to go for, again, you have to decide which track you want to go for it. Architecting path or DevOps path. Okay. So for DevOps, if you want to go for it, you have to go for SysOps administrator or developer associate. Okay. Now, and then after that, you become a DevOps. Very, very demanding certifications which we have in the IT DevOps. Okay. Then if you want to go for the solution architect, then associate, and then professional again, you can see that. Apart from that, we have a few more specialized certification track for security and other stuff, machine learnings, and few more data, big data, and all kind of things. So these are the fundamental. By the way, AWS has more than 100 certifications track actually. So depends on your requirement. This is the 99% people go for these tracks for normal use cases. Make sense? Yeah. So target, I don't know what you're targeting, but we will focus somewhere here. Okay. And then accordingly we'll practice it. Any questions?
How long are these certificates valid?
I think 2 years. Check that 2 years or 3 years, someone, yeah, 3 years or something. Yeah. So this is the one. Now, so guys, sufficient introductions. Okay. Now, how do we get started then? How do we get started? What is the first thing we need to learn in order to get started with AWS? But I'll remind you one more time this one. Please remember this slides. What do we need to know to get started? Region, ages, edge locations, and then foundation services. Correct now? So first question you should ask, what is region? Correct now? What is region? So now, simple. What is the region and what is availability zone? That's the question. So let me ask you one question, very simple question. Today, you are the team who's managing the Airbus cloud platform. And Airbus has a vision to offer the cloud services to the worldwide. So what you will do? Tell me. Simple, basic thing you tell me. What you will do? What do you suggest to the management? You want to garner the customer from every part of the world. Considering there are more than 219 countries, right? I may wrong, I'm not remembering. 90, how many? 193 countries. 193 countries, 193 governments, policies, rules, regulations. That is one part. Second thing, data privacy is also, European data privacy, Asian data, Chinese data privacy, Japanese, US, Canada, they have their own data privacy. India also nowadays coming up with the data privacy. A little late actually, right? So what you'll do, you will simply say, if you want to offer the customer worldwide, so let's set up the data center near to their customer base. No, simple logic. You'll say we have a customers, we want to offer, you want the customer from India, let's set up in India data centers. You want the customer from the Brazil, then Brazil, USA, Europe, Canada, Japan, from where you want to get a customer, correct? Simple logic, right? Why we want that set up the data center near to customer? What is the reason? Latency, right? Simple logic. So no need to discuss much on this. Simple logic. So now why they have set up, AWS has set up the data center in multiple places? You know that. And what are the places? I think this picture will give you. No need to remember that. Just remember 15 or 16. Actually, they have so many, but they don't make it available for public because, as I said, no, they are offering the government also. So like that. Okay. So these are the one. Right now in India, we have two, Mumbai and Hyderabad. Whereas Hyderabad is not functional, but they are setting up. So they have got the entire infrastructure bought somewhere in Hyderabad, and they're setting up maybe in the next few months. But Azure, they have three places: Bengaluru, Mumbai, and Hyderabad. Chennai, I guess. I need to check that. Okay, so they have it. So in India, we have one, Singapore, you see, nearest one. By the way, this is also little outdated image here also. What is the country name? I forgot that. People go there and then football happened, no? What was that? Qatar, yes, Qatar, they are also setting up. Right? So that is over there also. In USA, we have so many, Europe, we have so many. Okay, Japan also we have one, and China also. China is you cannot access, you cannot create over there, and then Singapore and Sydney. Make sense? Okay, so this is the region. So now you understood why we need a region. Now next one is availability zone. So let's break it out. This keyword itself. Availability means what? Can you please help me out in to understand what is availability?
Where is the data available at that point of time when we want to?
See, when you set up an enterprise architecture application, few keywords you will hear a lot: availability, reliability, scalability. What else? Am I missing something? Security. Correct, no? So these are the first, availability. So we have availability zone. Do you have any different zone in office? This office, bay zone, we want to call it. Why we have a different zone? Yeah, different. So here, simple regions are very simple. Let's say you are from Flipkart. You are a CTO of Flipkart, and now you are running all of your services on Mumbai region. Okay, Mumbai data center, and Mumbai have got hit with something called tsunami. May happen, earthquake may happen, fire may happen. What else may happen? Natural calamity. So we discuss some of this human created also, war, and community violence, bomb blast, terrorist attack. Correct? May happen. You cannot predict. Now your data center has gone. Now you are bankrupt. Correct? Look at this. You are running entire things on AWS, and data center is gone. It may happen, right? So how do we? So your company, what is the valuation right now? Flipkart, $40 billion. So suddenly it will become a $0 billion. Correct, no? So look at this in a simple way. So what to do now? Because you say no, I will not use AWS. Correct, no? So you'll say I will not use AWS. So what to do? You will offer what? Tell me.
DRs, like some other.
Yeah, disaster recovery is different topic. Recovery is different topic. Something goes wrong, then I recover. That is a different process. But I'm saying availability. Not even 1 second that our customer should get impacted. That is what I'm talking about. Getting me first. So what you will do? Tell me.
Yeah, something in parallel.
Parallel, run something parallel, but same location. If you run, it's the problem, right? So what you will do? You will run little bit different locations. So let's say Airbus we have in this. This is Bangalore East, correct? Bangalore East, right? Bangalore East, South, maybe East. You will run in the Bangalore North, or Bangalore South, Bangalore West. I think Bangalore West this is, no?
This would be best.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So you will run somewhere else. So what will happen if something goes wrong to this office, this data center, still you are running, having the there. So availability will not be impacted. Your end user will not be impacted. So that means you should run one server here and one server there. Then you will say, Rajesh, if you are running here and there, these are like very difficult to do that, right? The network latency will be too high. Correct, no? That's an obvious question you'll ask. You'll run one server here, one server here. How they will sync each other? Something is been written here, there it should be there, there. If it is written, it should be here. Correct, no? So for that, what they have done between the two data center, they have opted out very high fiber optics, which you won't even imagine the speed. I am not able to tell you the exact speed you may find in the Google. So this server and this server basically is a LAN. Now you understand what is LAN, right? So you have one in the north, one in the south. You are running one VMs here, one VMs there, and it's basically LAN. So they have connected the two data centers with a LAN, high powered network connections. So this is your responsibility to run in both the region. Both the zone. Getting my points? If you say I will run in one zone, whose mistake? Yours mistake. Make sense? Whose responsibility? You cannot blame AWS. That's where the designing and architecting skills required for that. Right? So you have to run in the multi-zone clusters actually. So that way, one zone is not there, no problem. Second zone is there. So now you are using that availability zone for running your availability one like this. But also AWS is also using zone for this one. Why? Because remember that AWS also offer platform as a service and software as a service where they are responsible for everything. And if it is down, you can charge them. That means, let's say if you are using software as a service or platform as a service and you have incurred the losses because of their unavailability, you can charge your losses to AWS. You can say, give me the losses. Are you getting me? So AWS is also using that Azure to make the availability zone. And also, again, if you go across the region is also possible. So HA also can be across the region also, but here there's no LAN. Okay, so this image will give you the right pictures actually. So look at this. Here we have a cloud. How many regions we have? 3 regions. Now if you look at it very carefully, at least how many availability zone needed? 2, because without 2 will not work. So minimum 2 is needed, and maximum I have seen up to 6 actually, 6 or 7. Okay, so depends on the regions. Mumbai has a 3, other regions we have a 6, 7 also. And you see that, look at the network connections between the availability zone is a LAN, is connected with each other. But between the region, it's connected through the internet. Getting points? Because we all are connected to the internet, right? All of you are okay with it? So region is clear, availability zone is clear. Last point is edge locations. What is edge locations? So guys, an edge locations where end user access services located at AWS. Okay, how to explain in a simple way? They are located in most of the major city around the world, specifically used by the CloudFront CDN to distribute content to end user to reduce the latency. It's like a front end for the service we access, which are located on AWS cloud. So what is a CloudFront? Edge locations. So edge location basically is a kind of locations where you have a AWS infrastructure. At that place, you can host your powered services like which consume lots of like videos, like CDN means content delivery network. That means some content which required huge caching to improve the performance of the application, so you want to host it over there. So what is happening when you host at the edge locations CDN? What happens? I'll give you a simple way to understand this one. How this edge location will impact you. So if I am sending an email from India to USA, okay, understand this way. So now my email, this is a packet, will be transferred to which way you want to travel, Japan way or so Arabian, which way? Both the way you can, it is possible. Who decide depends on the ISPs. Let's say it's traveling from the east or west, so it will go to let's say Arabian Sea. Why? Then it will reach out to Saudi Arabia or some different countries, and from there they will transfer. Different ISPs are there. Each country have ISP. Indian ISPs, can you please name it? ISPs? Someone said right. Airtel, BSNL, Jio, MTNL, uh, these are the Tata, right? So largest network Jio has actually. So yeah, so these ISP transfer that protocol to the Saudi Arabia, they transfer the protocol to Europe, Europe transfer the protocol to somewhere in USA, USA transport the internal protocol to the ISP provider, and then your machine, and then switch to your packet. This happens so fast you have no realizations actually. Correct now? So now you travel all these different ISPs. So what happens? How do you trace this which ISP? What is the command for it? Correct? You know that, right? You can know from where it is traveling, your packet is traveling. Very simple. Now the question was what is edge location? How is it? So now let's say you host some CDN at the edge location of AWS. Now you are not traveling all these different networks. Why? Because AWS has their own fiber optics across the globe, and they will ask you, hey, why you are getting trouble with traveling all these things? Host at my places, and I will give you the special network access, dedicated one, high bandwidth, fiber optics. And let's say just for understanding example, where the experience in a public network, which is 1 second, experience with the edge networks, you will have your customers will have maybe few milliseconds. Got the advantage here? Simple. So your edge network is a place where they have a direct connect, basically direct high fiber optics laid out between the different edge centers. So when customers travel to your application, access the application, it is a fast response actually compared to other normal traffic. Make sense? So that's called edge location in a simple way. Okay, so multiple edge. So these are the summary of it. So 26 launch regions, many up to date you can find on the website. So please, because every time it get updated. We have zones, edge locations, direct connect locations, and all these things. You can access this URL, up to date information. A lot of things they have it. Right now you don't have to remember. Now this slide is important. So if you say how do they add more storage? How do they add more compute? So they do nothing. They have built these boxes in a factories, and they simply bring it and attach to it. And the moment you attach, within 5 minutes, you have additional capacity. Simple. So this is the Amazon box, Microsoft and Azure last one. Sorry, Google Cloud last one, Microsoft this one. Simple. Inside that, everything they have it. Clusters, storage, compute, everything. It's full things. So basically they do nothing, bring these boxes to the USA, put it up. In India, I think we are not doing it. We are not producing this. Make sense? Okay, so now we understood that what is a region and what is availability zone, what is edge locations, and many other stuff at a high level, the key terminologies of AWS. Now we have a time to get into demo and followed by lab. Any questions so far we have? Okay, so now what we'll do, let's have one break for 15 minutes, grab your tea, coffee, restroom, and personal calls. And once we come back from the break, we'll start the demo. Will that be okay? Yeah, sure.
टूल्स के नाम में बूढ़ा के बॉक्स में होगा ये
Hello.